There's an organization called Charity Navigator that rates nonprofits nationally throughout the country on a 1 to 4 star basis based off of how well they use funds and the growth of programs. And we have been a 4-star rated charity, top rated charity for many years. And that is shows our transparency with the funds that we're using and shows that people can trust us. And, so that's very important.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, babies in their diapers, welcome to the Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy.
That's me, Tiberius.
And welcome to the Tiberius Show today. And I'm your host, Tiberius Boy. And as always, looking at various jobs and how they affect the world around us. Today's guest is going to be something really meaningful. Because today, we're going to talk about helping people who are blind or have vision loss. We have a guy that works at Lighthouse Central Florida. And do you all know what it's like to be blind? Well, today, we're going to talk to someone and find out, okay? We're going to talk to the one, the only, the amazing Jarrod Daab.
All right. Thanks so much for having me here. I've never been introduced with such enthusiasm, so I appreciate that.
Oh, no problem. Okay, so first off, you're the vice president of the fund development at Lighthouse Central Florida. That sounds really important. Can you explain what you do in a way that teens would understand?
Yeah, sure. So, Lighthouse Central Florida is a nonprofit organization. So as a nonprofit, we have to raise funds, raise money, and the resources to operate our daily activities. So that's what I do. I go out into the community, and I talk to stakeholders. I talk to companies, and I try to get them to invest in our mission, donate their funds. But it could also be additional things like their time as well. Or it could be in-kind services where they donate, part of their business to help operate our organization. So there's lots of ways that people can support the organization. But at the end of the day, people, when they invest into our mission, we need money from the community to operate our programs.
So what is Lighthouse Central Florida, and who do you help?
Yeah, so as I said, Lighthouse Central Florida is a nonprofit organization, and we operate rehabilitation programs for the blind and visually impaired. And these programs are to give the blind and visually impaired community the skill sets to navigate everyday life. So daily living skills. It can be something like orientation and mobility. So that means like getting around safely, how to use a white cane to navigate a world that is not set up for people with vision loss. Other things are it could be using assistive technology, using your phone in a way that you can read things, because your vision loss may not be complete blindness. There's large ranges of vision loss there. So it's all of these different things so that they can live full and independent lives.
So when did you first learn about Lighthouse and its mission?
I've worked my entire career in the nonprofit world. 25 years. I've been in Central Florida and Orlando for about 10 years now. And I've heard of Lighthouse. Coming into the community here, it's a wonderful organization. It's been around for 50 years. We are celebrating our 50th anniversary this year, which is really remarkable. So we've been here for quite some time, and it's one of those things that we've been here, but a lot of people don't know about us because, vision loss and blindness is not something that everybody experiences, through their daily lives. So it's something that we're trying to get out there and get the word out about, what we do, because it's important for people to understand that, and that everybody has access to these resources.
So what made you want to work for a nonprofit instead of like a regular business?
Oh boy. It's like many things, you can't map out your entire life. At least I didn't. Some people are able to do that, but I went to school. I got my undergrad in history, actually. And then I went to graduate school and got my master's in history, but also in museum studies and public administration. When you get a degree in history, everyone's like, "Are you going to be a teacher?" I bet you're going to be a teacher. And I'm like, I don't want to be a teacher, really. I don't know what I want to do. And so when I went and got my master's degree, I got I wanted to go find an area where I could utilize my skills, and so I thought I'd work in museums, which are nonprofits. And so I started out in that area, but then I kind of found that fund development, forming relationships with people was an area that I really enjoyed doing. And I, kind of just leaned on my skills, and that's an area where I've excelled over the years. And I kind of say that to everybody: find what you love to do, find what you're good at, and find what you enjoy doing. And that's something that I've kind of, I've found that path. It took a while to get there, but, I didn't plan it, but I got here.
So what kind of kid were you in school? Serious, creative, or somewhere in between?
Well, oh boy. I was, I was a person that was, a high performing person, grade level. I was, top 10% of my class, honor roll, honor society, all that kind of stuff. But I was also kind of a class clown too. I'm a little bit of a smart aleck, and I like to have fun and laugh and have a good time. And so I've taken that part of it and my intellectual curiosity to be able to, take it into my job now and, form those relationships with people and get to know them real well.
So did school come easy for you, or did you have to work really, really hard?
I don't know anybody, I don't know anybody where it's easy for them. I have two daughters, 12 and 15. My 12-year-old is in 7th grade now. And, I would say she would always say school was very easy for her for the last several years. And now she's like, man, it's hard now. And so I think at some point everybody's got to work for it. And you just get to that grade where you have to work hard. So, like I said, I just studied hard when I was a kid. I took it seriously, and education was always an important thing in my life. And my parents, really pushed that on me. And so I just took it seriously, and I think everybody should. Education's a very important thing to have.
Well, you earned your bachelor's from the University of Illinois and your master's degree from Tufts University. Why did you decide to keep going with school?
It was two things. For my undergrad, I started with my studies in one area, and I kind of took different roads. I started out in aerospace engineering, actually, which was very different than where I wound up. But I found, I was very good at math and science when I was in high school, and it seemed like a natural progression. And when I started really doing it, it wasn't for me. It was just simple as that. And so I took kind of bounced around a little bit to try to find where my interests and passions lie. And it wound up with history. I didn't know what I was going to do with it, but I really enjoyed history. I really enjoyed, learning about the past and how it relates to the present. So with that, that's where I kind of said, what do I want to do with it? And that's where I started to pursue a postgraduate degree and get my master's degree in history, and really try to find again where my passions laid. And that's where I found a museum studies program and a public administration program. And I thought that was a good way for me to utilize my degree in a way that I would enjoy doing it. And that's what I did. And so it actually worked out pretty well for me. And I've been very fortunate to be where I'm at.
Did you ever doubt yourself along the way?
Absolutely. Still doubting myself, but yes, 100%. Especially, when I was getting my master's degree, and even right after I got my master's degree, I invested quite a bit of money into, getting that postgraduate degree.
It's expensive.
Higher education, no joke. Don't
want to fail it.
And yeah, and when I came out, my first job, I was making $11 an hour. So that, this was also 25 years ago. So
Okay.
The minimum wage, I think, was $7.25 at that time. but still making $11 an hour coming out. You do the math at even 40 hours a week, 52 weeks a year. I was living at the poverty level, and it took me a little bit. It took me several years to find my path and work hard to get there. But those few years, I was questioning, was it worth getting that master's degree? Was it worth investing in that, the time, the money, all that stuff? But it did pay off. I will say it has 100% paid off, but it took time. You've got to be patient and work hard. That's for sure.
What's something teens might be surprised to learn about working in nonprofits?
I surprised to learn. I will say that I might be biased. Again, I've worked my entire career in it. I think it's the hardest industry to work in the sense of it's a lot of work. You work extra hours. Your pay is not as high as it would be in the private sector, and it's very challenging because you probably have a lot fewer resources than other people do in the private sector. So you're working with less, you're working for less, but the payoff can be absolutely huge, because when you find your passion in working for other people to help other people, it can make you feel really good about yourself and what you're doing. And it's really cool that I can connect people in the community, their passions, with a mission. And I think that most people are looking to get involved and they don't know how and they don't know where. So it's just having simple conversations with people and just saying, even with my organization, with working with the blind and visually impaired at Lighthouse, not every person I talk to is going to get involved with my organization. And I understand that and I respect that. But I tell every person, what is your passion? Find your passion and get involved somewhere.
Well, here seems like a good time to do a quick commercial break. Let's hear a word from our sponsors.
So you want to make an ad for your company, right?
Yeah, Tiberius, you want to help me?
Okay, so what's the name of the company?
PPWND.
PP what?
Professional Pressure Washing and Detailing.
So you like clean driveways?
Yeah, like that. We pressure wash commercial buildings and semi-truck and trailers.
So how would someone get a hold of you?
They can visit my site at ppwnd.com or call me at 407-900-7793.
So I just tell them to call you at 407-900-7793 or visit ppwnd.com?
Yeah, Tiberius, you got it.
Cut, that's a wrap. Just use that.
Oak Ridge Gun Range is a family-oriented shooting range that has been in business for over 30 years. They specialize in basic firearm training and offer numerous services such as consignments, gun trades, gunsmithing, and concealed weapon classes. I even got my training for gun safety at Oak Ridge Gun Range. Great customer service, and firearm safety is what they do best. So find out more at oakridgegunrange.com.
And we're back here with Jarrod Daab, Vice President of Fund Development at Lighthouse of Central Florida. Okay, Jarrod, let's talk about fund development. What does fundraising actually mean?
Well, it is. It's first and foremost for me. It's forming relationships. With fund development, fundraising. Number one, I got to raise money. We've got to keep the lights on. We've got to, we've got bills to pay. We've got people, salaries to pay. Our organization, it takes an entire team of people to operate the organization, to run the programs, to do those services for our clients who have low vision. So we have to get out there and we have to make sure that we have the money to pay people and to pay the bills and all that fun stuff. So it's making the case that this is a good investment for our donors to make, to give back to the community, to support people in their community, to ensure that they have the best lives possible. So I do it in a variety of ways. With fundraising, we've got about a $4.5 million budget, annually that we have to do. So we have contracts with the state of Florida that They reimburse funding for us for hours that we provide, but there's always a gap. It only covers about half to 2/3 of the entire budget. And so I got to go out there and, I get to go out there and get the community involved. And so it's making the case that this is an investment that they can make. Now, they're not getting a return on investment. They're not like making money back or anything like a typical business would be. Their investment and their return on investment is feeling good about themselves and helping other people out. And I think that's a good thing for people to want to invest in.
Like what? Like, where does the money go once it's raised? Like, where does it go?
Exactly. And we have to show that we are good stewards of those funds. It's important that people have trust in the organization. So we have to build trust in the community. If people don't think that you're using, I'm not taking the funds and going out there and buying myself a new car with it and driving around and saying, thanks a lot, I got my new Porsche out there. We've got to show that the funds are going towards the programs and going towards where their intention is. And we're very fortunate to be, because we are good stewards of the finances that are bestowed upon us. There's an organization called Charity Navigator that rates nonprofits nationally throughout the country on a 1 to 4 star basis based off of how well they use funds and the growth of programs. And we have been a 4-star rated charity, top rated charity for many years. And that is shows our transparency with the funds that we're using and shows that people can trust us. And so that's very important. But we go out there for fundraising. I talk with people and try to get them to make a personal donation to ours. We send mailers out there. Nice. We do grant writing with foundations. So there's a number of foundations out there that you can put a proposal together for and ask for a certain amount of money to support programs. We also do special events. One of our biggest special events of the year is coming up in just 5 weeks called Dining in the Dark. And it's how we get sponsorships for it. People can buy tickets. There's silent auction, live auction. And so that's another way for us to raise money for the organization. And people can have a good time doing it and then also learn about the mission.
Do you also like dine in the dark? Or?
You dine in complete darkness. And I mean pitch black darkness. We completely black out the room. So this isn't where you just put on a blindfold or anything like that. You walk into a room of complete pitch darkness.
Is it finger food?
Not a single show. Absolutely not. You're using fork, knife, cutting a steak or whatever the meal is. The really cool part is that we partner with the Orlando Police SWAT team. So the SWAT team has their night vision goggles on, and they are bringing us. It's not to see that we're cheating. They're serving the food. They are leading you into the room. They're serving you the food. It's a completely immersive dining experience, unlike anything that you could ever possibly imagine. And it puts everybody in this world of complete darkness that they have. It's like, all right, now try to eat. We don't, you have to all of a sudden figure out, where you're sitting down, where your fork and knife are. You don't even know what's on your plate. If you want to pour any kind of beverage into your glass, you've got to figure out how to get your glass, get that, and pour.
I know that. I've done it before
with
pitch black.
Without spilling and over pouring and all that fun stuff. So it's a fun experience for people, but it also puts them into the world of our clients who live with blindness on an everyday basis. Because at the end of the meal, we bring the lights up and bring them back into their world of sight.
And you realize how much food you have left in your plate.
You might see that, or how much you spilled on the table, which is probably another thing there.
Hope it's not carpet.
It's I tell people, you be very cognizant of what you're going to wear that evening, and a white outfit may not be the best choice.
No,
but it's a fun way for people to get involved, learn about the organization, and hopefully it gets them wanting to raise their hand and make a donation.
Well, do you think teens today are more aware of social causes than adults, or like when you were younger?
I think that. It's something that is maybe more top of mind. I think that's a great thing that, you have things like social media and other ways for us, new ways for us to reach the community. Just like any business or anything that's out there, we are taking advantage of those same opportunities. And I think that, younger generations now are more aware of the importance of giving back to the community. It's important to them. There's many studies that show that, whether it's Gen Y, Gen Z, millennials, that when they are going out to find a job in the community, it is they look at the importance of, does that company give back to the community too? And that is a very important thing, and that's something that has become more in the last several years, a decade or so, that's become more of an important thing for those in the workforce to look out. They want to work for a company that gives back to the community.
Yeah. So why would a kid listening today want to grow up and do your job?
Whew, man. You've heard all the things I've already been saying about how hard it is, and how the resources can be limited. I always tell people, like,
why would we want to?
When we work with, I've worked with a number of interns over the years, and they're like, I want to, work in nonprofits. And the first thing I say to them is like, are you sure about that? And I'm like, I don't know if you really want to do that.
I just use the whole, like, a lot of cash in your hands. Like, oh yeah.
I slightly joke with them about that. But then I go through it and tell them all those things. And I say, it's hard work. You're going to work harder than in any job industry out there, honestly, in my opinion. But the return that you get on investment is that feeling of accomplishment. And, you can still, make a good living for yourself doing this stuff, and also give back. So it's the two that go hand in hand. And I think that's a really cool thing that, a lot of, not every, industry or business can say.
Well, let's take another quick break just to pay some bills.
The Tiberius Show would like to thank one of their dedicated sponsors, Custom Designs Orlando. These guys are on Mills Avenue and do all sorts of stuff, ranging from photo ID badges, engraved signs, custom braille ADA signs, vinyl lettering to trophies and awards. The cool part about Custom Designs is they can ship products all over the United States. You can reach them at 407-898-0373 and tell them that
Tiberius
sent you.
Over 40 years, Lighthouse Central Florida has provided education, independent life skills, and job training to thousands of Central Floridians who live with blindness or any degree of vision loss. Whether it's picking out clothes in the morning or just moving around your community and serving Orange, Seminole, and Osceola counties, contact Lighthouse Central Florida at 407-898-2483 or visit them online at lighthousecfl.org.
And we're back here with Jarrod Daab. Okay, Jarrod, you're a husband and a dad to two daughters, ages 12 and 15. How has being a parent changed the way that you look at your work?
For me, my work is a family affair. I've always had my family involved with everything that I do, and I want to instill in them the morals and ethics that'll make them better people in the community and in their personal lives. And I think nonprofit work is certainly an area that will accomplish that.
So, do you think your kids will understand what you do for a living?
Yeah, they absolutely do. As I was saying, they've been involved honestly since they were very young. Probably 3 or 4 years old. They've been getting involved with my work, and so they've been volunteering. The place that I worked at before Lighthouse was at Ronald McDonald House, another fantastic organization in the communities. We every year we cook dinner in the houses. On Christmas Eve every single year. It was a tradition for ours for a number of years. They would volunteer at events for me. They might say it's called voluntold, where I was like, you're coming with me and you're going to do this. But they get excited about it too.
Yeah.
So, and
unlike in classrooms.
Yeah. And we actually just last Saturday, they volunteered with me at Lighthouse.
Wow.
We took our the kids in our program. We went to a ropes course, and they were doing the climbing and all that. And my girls were out there helping out.
Nice.
And so they enjoy doing it. They like getting involved. They like to see the work that is being done by the organizations. So they get excited about it, honestly. And with school and there's that volunteer work you're supposed to do. They're lucky they get to do it, and they don't have to seek it out.
You don't have to look for volunteer hours.
Yeah, they don't have to look very hard, and they truly do enjoy it, which I'm excited for that too, because we get to have fun doing it together, and they get to develop that empathy that for working with people who need that just additional help there, and it's cool. It's fun. It's fun to do with them.
So what's one thing schools don't teach that you think that they should?
Man, I think with all schools, they get very focused on the test taking and the science and the math, very important stuff, no doubt about it. But I think those everyday living skills are important. Budgeting, I think, are a very important thing. Heck, I think, whether it's, my day it was called home economics, you need to learn how to cook and, do that kind of stuff.
Teach us.
You're all going to be living on your own, and I'm not going to be cooking for you. So I get my girls involved with that at home. But, I think, those everyday type stuff, like I said, budgeting and finance. Yeah, exactly.
Financing for college.
Yeah. You're going to have to do your taxes here because
how to drive.
How to drive. Yes. I'm teaching my oldest that right now. And so,
She can get her permit, can't she?
She's got her permit. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
She's got her permit. She'll be in August getting her license. So, yeah, with schools, I think it'd be good to see a little bit more of those type of things. But unfortunately, I get it for schools. There's only so many hours in the day that they can do stuff, and
only so many classes that you can actually take.
Yeah, and as a parent, I can't shirk that responsibility over to schools. I got to take that responsibility myself. So yeah, and so yeah.
So, what have you learned about yourself, during your career that you wish that you knew earlier?
I wish when I was younger that I maybe took more chances. I was probably a little more timid when I was younger, and that's probably the time to be less timid. You've got your whole life ahead of you to not make mistakes. Make your mistakes when you're young. And I think that I wish I would have taken a little bit more chances. I wish I would have been more involved in extracurricular activities at school. Whether it was high school or college as well. I think you have to take full advantage of those experiences. Especially when you go to college, you're investing your money into that, and that is your future, and you can make a lot of connections by getting yourself more involved. So, when I was younger, I wish I would have put myself out there a little bit more, and. But I've learned to be a little bit more confident in myself over the years, and it's turned out okay. But yeah, hope that answers your question.
Well, on your off time, what do you like to do for fun?
Oh, what do I like to do? Like is a very loaded word. What do I have to do? Lots of yard work, because that's not getting done by itself. A lot of odds and ends stuff around the house.
What do you like to do for fun? Like play video games or something?
I'll play Mario Kart with my with my oldest.
There you go.
And we have a pretty heated rivalry. But she certainly beats me more often. And but I enjoy spending time with my wife. Family is certainly very important. We like to go out activity wise where. We like to, go cycling. I got to get that back up again. I've been letting that go. But we like to go and throw darts and just I love a good steel tip cork dartboard and all that fun stuff. But hanging out with friends, family, socializing, and traveling of course too whenever I have the opportunity.
Not work.
Yeah. Work is always there. Trust me. 7 days a week.
All right. So what was the biggest mistake that you've ever made in life or work, and how did it change you as a person?
Biggest mistake, man. What are you doing to me here, man?
A lot.
That's the biggest mistake.
We want to know.
It's hard to say that I've ever, that there's ever been a biggest mistake. I think the biggest mistake you can do is not learn from your mistakes and move forward in a positive way. I've certainly made some decisions in my life that I would rethink, but I also don't regret, any of those things that has happened, because it's gotten me to this point. It's gotten me to the point where I've got a wonderful family, great wife, all of that. So I think, with the biggest regret or biggest mistake you can make is not learning from your mistakes and moving forward with those decisions you've made. If you ever live with regret, that's the worst.
Horrible.
The worst thing. You ever you see those things where, seniors who are in their 80s or 90s and what's the advice they give you? And they're like, don't live with regret. Don't do some, don't look back on something and be like, God, I wish I did that.
Yeah.
So we're not going to be on this planet forever, and we've got to take advantage with the short amount of time that we have. And as the grays continue to grow in my face, I wake up with that mantra every day.
Wow. Okay. Now, can you tell me that one story? Remember, this is a kid's show, but that one story, that you're not supposed to tell me about. Come on, you can tell me.
Oh my gosh. Wow, these are tough questions. One story that I'm not supposed to tell you about? Well, I guess I don't know if there's one story. I would just say, as advice, get in trouble sometimes, not illegal trouble or with the law necessarily. But,
that's right, motorcyclers.
Yeah, you've got to, I used to, when I was younger, sneak out of the house from time to time, and mom and dad had no clue about it, or if they did, they didn't say anything to me about it. As I said, I was a honor roll student, straight A's, all that kind of stuff. But
as long as you had straight A's, you were fine.
Yeah, I kind of, I do that with my daughters too. I'm like, as long as you guys are getting good grades and don't do anything stupid, we're good to go here. But I'm okay with getting in trouble occasionally, or, doing something behind my back. Sometimes if I don't see it, then that's fine.
If I don't see it, it didn't happen.
So I hope there's no parents listening to this, because that was probably the worst advice I could have given to your kids.
Well, is there anything else you think my listeners should know about you and what you do?
I've lived in this community here in Central Florida, Orlando, for about 10 years now. I feel so thankful to be a part of this community here. I've lived in Chicago, I've lived in Boston, from St. Louis originally. There's a term for Orlando called small Lando, and you probably, if you haven't heard it, it's this is a small city, and with a lot of big amenities. And if you need to take advantage of this, what's in this community here. And
it's a great community.
Yeah, it's a really cool place. And I always say you're no more than 1-2 relationships at most from knowing anybody in this town. And I've been very fortunate to be a part of it, and I've been very thankful to have had this experience here. So.
Well, do you have a Facebook or website for my listeners who want to follow you?
Me personally, or Lighthouse?
Lighthouse.
Lighthouse.
Or you. Up to you.
I am a very unexciting person. Lighthouse is definitely the better way to go. Our website is lighthousecfl.org. So you can go there, and on the bottom of the page, you can link up to all of our social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I don't know if you guys have LinkedIn probably at this age yet, but
I don't. I have a Facebook, but I don't have LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's the best way to follow me, is on LinkedIn, and then I know none of you are going to do it because you don't have it. So,
well, to be fair, there are some adults that watch this show.
That's true too. That's true tue. And I will say, for advice wise, as for kids your age, for your age, you should start a LinkedIn page at some point. I would say by the time you get to college, I would do it for your professional development. I do think it is important to do that. It's basically your resume online all the time.
Nice. Well, what is that one question that you think I forgot to ask you?
That one question. Well, the one question is, yes, I will take $1 million if you want to donate it to Lighthouse Central Florida. So, or even 100,000. That's fine too.
It's not a question. It's a statement.
That's a statement. The question for you: if you ask me, hey, will you take $1 million? I will gladly say yes. So, but anybody out there too, I say that in jest, but I do encourage people to learn more about the organization and to get involved. I think you would find the importance of it. We are also employing 250 people who are blind and visually impaired. So we're providing employment for folks too. And so your support makes that happen. So get involved.
Well, thank you, Jarrod, for being our special guest. Can you stick around for Math Corners?
Sure.
Aw, Dad, my computer's slow again and I can't play my games.
Call Your Computer Solutions today, and we will scan for viruses and clean that computer up remotely and make it fast again. Our phone number is 407-826-0810.
Thanks, Dad. My computer's fast again. Now I can do my homework. Thanks for calling Your Computer Solutions at 407-826-0810.
Tiberius' favorite subject, it's Math Corners.
And now it's time for Math Corners. Thank you so much, Jarrod, for helping me with Math Corners. This week, we're going to do another multi-step word problem. My dad is always going to find new problems for me to solve, and today, we're going to talk about making signs for blind people. So, I think you might be good at this one, Okay. So, Pete's Sign Company makes multiple different signs for blind people. There are 3 different kinds: Braille, temperature, and color, for the people that can actually see a little bit. So the company makes 50% Braille signs, which cost $12 each, 30% temperature signs, which cost $8 each, and 20% color signs, which cost, $5 each. If an organization, that works with the blind, wanted to order 1,000 signs total, how many of each sign will there be, and what will the total cost be?
How many total signs are there going to be? Wait, I have to answer this?
How many each types of the sign?
Oh, each sign. Okay, yeah. Well, the first one, it was 50% Braille, right? So that's 500 times 12. So that would be $6,000 right there. Mm-hmm. It was 30% for temperature, right? Mm-hmm. So 30% there, that's 300. How much was it?
Oh, I can't help you.
I have to memorize it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Hey, I do it too.
All right, then I'm going to make it up. Was it $8? So that's $2,400. So we're at $8,400. So 20% of 1,000 is 200, and 200 times, what was it? Again, I'm making it up, $6 because I can't see it now. And I'm trying to find the question there. So it's $1,200. So that'd be $9,600 total.
Okay. You were actually really close, okay? Really close.
If I had the question in front of me,
I
could have done it.
Really close, because you got the second one right. So now we know it's important, for a sign company to make the right amount of signs so that he doesn't get his math wrong. So it's also important that how much everything costs so that they can bill correctly, because stealing money is still illegal. So first, we have to figure out how many of each sign there are. So since 50% of 1,000 is 500, there will be 500 Braille signs. Each Braille sign costs $12, so 500 times 12 is $6,000 for Braille signs.
I got that.
Next, 30% of 1,000 is 300, so there will be 300 temperature signs. You were right on that one. Each one costs $8. You were right on that
I got
part,
that one.
which is $2,400.
So $8,400 total.
So for that leaves 20%, which is 200 color signs, and each color sign costs $5.
Okay, I said
not
4.
6. No, you said 6.
Did I say 6? Okay.
So 200 times 5 is $1,000 for color signs.
I would have got that.
So let's add everything together, and you get $9,400 total.
I would have got that.
Really
If I
close.
remembered it was $5, I would have got that.
Okay, so the organization would spend $9,400 on 1,000 signs.
And the important thing there, too, is to know a nonprofit organization is not charged tax, because we are taxed. You don't get charged that. So
that's why I didn't include it.
That's why it's important.
That's why I didn't include it.
Don't give it. You didn't. Yeah, that's not why.
I I know a lot about nonprofits.
That's not why. What about a shipping fee or something like that? You put that on there.
Shipping fee.
There's always a delivery fee.
There's always a fee somewhere.
There's a setup fee. Trust me.
Even in nonprofits, there's somehow a fee.
Trust me, there are.
So, Jarrod, do you think it's important for organizations to plan carefully so they can actually afford the signs that people need?
Absolutely. I have to budget on my pretty much everyday life on things that we are doing because, as I said before, as a nonprofit, we have to be good stewards of people's money that they donate to us, and we can't just go to the best sign company out there charging a premium. We're trying to find.
Hey, we're charging $100 per sign.
We're trying to find ones that that good quality work, but also for a good price as well. So
LED signs.
We're getting quotes out there and all that fun stuff. So yeah, we got to do our due diligence.
Well, thank you so much, Jarrod, for your help with Math Corners.
You bet.
Now it's time for the Heart of the Lion. As you know, we talk about the qualities of living for the Heart of the Lion, which stands for leadership, integrity, obedience, and ability. This week, we're going to talk about some leadership. For me, I think leadership is the act of loving what is good, having self-control, and being disciplined. The qualities of leadership are providing guidance and direction, organization, and being a positive influence on others. So, the other day, me and my dad, we're going around to different companies, trying to pitch to different companies about being a sponsor for my show. We normally always get a no, but it's the trying that matters, right? And being a leader, to try and keep on leading an example on why people should be a sponsor of the Tiberius Show. Wink, wink. It takes a lot of time out of my day to do this, and let me tell you, it's not easy. But that's part of being a leader. It's not easy. It takes time, pain, suffering, but in the end, having leadership and being a leader is amazing. It feels amazing. So I want you all to go out there and be lion strong and show a lot of leadership. So Jarrod, do you have an example of leadership that you saw this week?
What I see in leadership is, I'm not going to call anybody out by name or anything, but to me, leadership is leading by example, but more importantly, doing. I look for the people that are the doers. Those are the people that take the initiative, raise their hand, step forward and want to do something, and whether it's volunteering for something or if there's a project at the company that needs to get done, that they're like, put me down for that. That's something that I want to step up and do. To me, that's a leader, is somebody that titles can, a lot of people have titles. Titles do not define leadership. Anybody can be a leader, and to me, that's a big quality when I see that.
Yeah. Well, we should always try to be lion strong in everything we do, shouldn't we?
Absolutely.
And that's our show, folks. I want to thank the one, the only, the amazing Jarrod Daab for being on my show. It has been so much fun talking to you today. I think we learned a lot about your work with Lighthouse of Central Florida and about blind people all over our local area.
I really appreciate you having me on the show here, just giving a chance to talk about the organization, myself. It's been a pleasure, and once again, I just encourage people to learn a little bit more about the organization. If you want to get involved, reach out to me. Again, our website is lighthousecfl.org. Take a look at it. Reach out to me. Love to talk to you.
Well, you can also find me on Facebook and Instagram at The Tiberius Show, and I would like to thank WWPR 1490 AM, KIT98, Soul Radio 24/7, Easy Way TV, and all the other stations that air my show. And please visit The Tiberius Show on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. Jarrod, please tell me you're subscribed.
Absolutely. Come on.
Yes.
Don't be silly.
Yes. Well, this week, Philly Art Dad says Excel is an artist's best friend. My wife helped me build some of my best spreadsheets. Pierre Laguerre 87 says, Tiberius, much love from Pack Ads. Well, Pierre, thank you so much for watching, and a nice way to sneak in a shout out. Future sponsor in the works, maybe, I don't know. But you know what? Be sure to leave a comment on my videos, and I might even mention yours at the end of the show. Also, be sure to join us next on the Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy.